On behalf of the Grand Isle Port Commission, I would like to welcome all of you joining us today for our Pier and Bulkhead Repair Project groundbreaking ceremony. We have waited 7 years in anticipation of this project and are extremely elated to begin these repairs and see this day come to fruition. At this time, I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce our guest speakers who would like to come up and say a few words. First off is Mo Saleh. Mo is with Professional Engineering and Environmental Consultants. Mo is the Grand Isle Port Commission lead engineer and consultant for all of our projects. He has worked for the Grand Isle Port Commission for many years and has been instrumental in leading the efforts over the past 7 years in not only designing this project, but also in obtaining the required funding through various entities, including FEMA, the State Capital Outlay, and Jefferson Parish. Mo will give his perspective on the design of this project, the importance of this project, and all of the trials and tribulations encountered over the years. Mo?
This project actually goes back to Hurricane Isaac. Hurricane Isaac happened in 2011. And it took us at least 5 years to be able to get to discuss the project and the disaster and the damages that was caused by Hurricane Isaac with FEMA. In 2015, when after Hurricane Isaac was passed and the area was cleaned up, we had a gentleman from FEMA that came to the site and evaluated the disaster. And he submitted a report about 2 months after with a total damages of $87,000. When we asked FEMA what happened to the actual cost, the answer was, well, there was nothing there for me to see. It was just what you see in the back. There was nothing there. And we had to go back and show the pictures and show all of the aerial images, historic aerial images, to prove to FEMA that there was actually a structure here. There was a bulkhead here. And from 2015 to 2017, it took us 2 years to get FEMA to come up to increase the cost from $87,000 to $1 million. And we were, again, we needed more money, and the only way that we could have approached this was to ask assistance from Jefferson Parish and from the state capital outlay. Over the last 7 years, we have advertised this project twice. And the reason is because every time that we advertised and we asked FEMA for the approval, FEMA did not allow us to move forward with the project. And we had to reject the bids. And every time we rejected the bids, the cost of the project went up. The original bid amount that we received for this project was $2 million. Keep in mind, FEMA only gave us $1 million. And then the last time that we advertised the project, because of the cost increase of the material, the project was $4.3 million. In order to make this project happen, we approached our leaders at the parish and at the state level, and we expressed our concern with this project, that if we don't get this thing moving, we will lose the funding that we have from FEMA. And with the help of the state and our leaders again, that you see them sitting right here, we were able to get the assistance from both the state at a cost of $1.8 million and Jefferson Parish, $900,000 that was provided for this project. And about a month ago, we were able to sign the contract with Sea Level, and as you see, the equipment is over here, and they have already started the project. This project covers installing a bulkhead from that point where you see the boat is parked all the way to the red building that you see on the other side. This entire bulkhead in the front was actually being used It was actually being used in 2000, between 1990 and 2011 by the shrimp boats and commercial fishermen. And this stretch is about 1,000 feet that would have allowed at least 50 boats to be tied and used at this location. And since 2011 till now, which is about 12 years, these 50 boats have no place to park. And as you can see, they're using the slip on both sides right now. And again, these two slips that you see on both sides, it happened. It was built as a result of the assistance we received from the state and from the parish, not FEMA. So, but right now, we have a good team. We have FEMA funding available, we have the state funding available, we have the parish funding available, and we have the contractor that they told me just this morning that we will actually see the sheet piles being driven along the canal sometime in January. And once this is completed, in 6 months, by end of May, we should be able to allow the commercial fishermen to come back and use this slip again. Again, I want to thank all of you, especially our leaders at the parish and the state level. We appreciate everything you all have done for us. Thank you.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Parabon General Health Systems, modern technology, and timeless caring. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bourke, know your rights. South Louisiana Bank, it's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough. Alford and Associates, for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality.
Next, I'd like to introduce Councilman Ricky Templet. Ricky is the Jefferson Parish Councilman at Large, Division A. He has been in this role since 2019, and prior to that, served as a Jefferson Parish Councilman representing District 1 for 8 years. Ricky helped us out tremendously in the provision of Jefferson Parish funding towards this project.
Look, great to be here this morning with y'all and celebrating Grand Isle moving forward. You know, one of the things we all work hard on is making sure Grand Isle somehow stays in the headlines and people know that the island's alive and here and is a great place to come and visit and play, but there's also work that needs to take place here. And this is part of that. You know, Grand Isle is part of Jefferson Parish. We're 440,000 people strong here, and this is part of Jefferson Parish, Grand Isle. We got to make sure people know that, and part of this great state of Louisiana. I couldn't be more proud to be able to stand here with the men and the women that are in the audience especially, but my colleagues, and I say my colleagues because none of what we're doing here today takes place with one person making it happen. You heard Mr. Weldon, you know, with the Port Commission and his port members, they have fought hard for not just 1 year, but for 7 years to make this one dream come true. And very proud to be able to say that. And it takes a partnership. One of the things I've always preached, it's not one person that makes it happen, it's all of us that makes it happen. And we're standing up here today with the local officials from Grand Isle, from the port, from our state, from Jefferson Parish, and even our citizens, making sure we move in Grand Isle and Jefferson Parish forward in the right directions. You know, this is a sportsman's paradise, and some of the greatest seafood in our country comes from right here out of our backyard. So it's important that we have these docks in the port viable. but not just for the seafood industry, ladies and gentlemen. We have other industry out here that we need to make sure we're available for with the port here in Grand Isle. There's new technologies that are coming out here to these rigs that are being repurposed for natural gas purposes and in future windmill energy purposes, as well as creating hydrogen type purposes, that these offshores will be needing access to a good port. So all of us working together and bringing this port back online where it should be, and this is one of those first steps. I'm proud to be able to be here. Jefferson Parish has contributed $900,000 to this project because we believe in Grand Isle. And working, with our Senator Pat Connick, working with the council, and Cheeky, I hate to say Cheeky, but Councilman Bartholomew, and working with our senator and my colleagues, Marion Edwards, and the mayor and the council, and the port is what makes everything a success, because all of us are doing it together. And proud to be here today in this groundbreaking ceremony, once again showing that Grand Isle is alive and moving forward. And thank y'all.
Next, I'd like to introduce State Representative Joseph Ogeron. Joe is the state representative for District 54. He has been in this role since 2020, serves both Lafourche Parish and the town of Grand Isle, and participates in various state committees. Joe has helped us acquire state capital outlay funding, and most recently was involved speaking with Governor Edwards on our behalf to get this funding. Joe has also assisted us with the state legislature on our oyster farms.
After Ida, all we want to do is return back to normalcy. I know it predates Ida on the damage, but special thanks for Weldon for staying on top of it. Mo, your tenacity in wanting to get this project done is great. I would also like to thank Sea Level. I know that during this whole time, held a price steady while we fought at the Capitol to get all the funds available, and without y'all probably holding price, it would have been yet another ball, another target to move and try to catch. So we appreciate that. Looking to the future, I look forward to seeing the pier rebuilt and more activity here in the area. And the only other thing I could add is one of the legislative actions I'm going to be looking towards moving forward for the port is to get the second half of Bayou Rigo from the Wildlife and Fisheries all the way to Caminada Pass, declared as a U.S. navigable waterway to allow dredging to occur, on a regularly maintained manner, and make the backside of the island be fully accessible to large vessels through and through.
Next, I would like to introduce State Senator Patrick Connick. Pat is the state senator for District 8. He has been in this role since 2019 and represents both Jefferson and Plaquemines Parish. Pat has also helped us acquire state capital outlay funding and was instrumental in introducing our funding requirement in the state capital outlay bill. And Pat, after a number of conversations by phone, I'm elated to have you here today. Pat?
We got to do what we need to do to take care of this island and take care of the people, take care of our shrimpers. They've been beat up with imports, and this is just a small step to make their lives a little easier, and have an economy coming in where they can protect their boats and their equipment. I just want to really thank Weldon. The hurdles that we had to jump through to get here were unbelievable. Joe knows, this is the Baton Rouge state money, but every hurdle that we hit, we found a way to get over it. It wasn't an easy process, and the last battle was with, putting the $1 million with another $8 million project, flipping it around. We had to go to the top, to the governor, to the division administration, and telling and selling it to the legislature, this is what's needed in Grand Isle. And thanks to Joe and the governor and the governor's staff, we were able to make that happen and made that switch for that money. The money's here. Let's get it built, and let's keep moving Grand Isle forward, as Councilman Timberlake says. Thank y'all.
Thank you,
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Parabon General Health Systems, modern technology, and timeless caring. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bourke, know your rights. South Louisiana Bank, it's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough. Alford and Associates, for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality.
The next person I'd like to introduce is the Honorable Marion Edwards. Marion is a Jefferson Parish Councilman for District 1. He has been in this role since 2020, and prior to that was a Jefferson Parish District Attorney and served as the Chief Judge to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. Marion has been very supportive of our financial needs and has worked alongside Councilman Ricky Templett to approve Jefferson Parish funding for this project. Marion, would you please come up and say a few words?
Thank you so much, Weldon, and thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here. And I just have to say it was really due to your determination and Mo's that this project has gotten to the point that we see here today. And congratulations and thank you, because, you know, people in Louisiana don't really realize just how important Grand Isle is to the whole state. And hopefully we can get that word out there a little better than we have in the past. You know, as Weldon mentioned, it sounds like I couldn't hold a job, but most of the jobs most of the hats that I've worn since I got here to Jefferson Parish has brought me in contact with Grand Isle. You know, Harry Lee was my law partner for 30 years, and anytime we could find an excuse to come down here and go fishing, I can tell you that we did. When I was Mama Lena's first assistant, one of the things that I always did was take responsibility for the grand jury, and I had to bring the grand jury down at least twice a year to include in their report the inspection of the jail down here. And over the years, got to be friends with the elected officials and a lot of the local people. And I'll tell you, it's every time I have a chance to come down here and see the progress after the incredible damage that was done to all of Lower Jefferson, it makes me feel good and very appreciative that you guys are working as hard as you are to get it back to where it needs to be. Again, thank you so much, Weldon, and I know there will be some things that we can do to help you along the way, and it'll be a pleasure too.
Okay, the next person I'd like to introduce is Brian Bartholomew. Brian is a Town of Grand Isle councilman and also the mayor pro tem. David could not be here today. He's at a convention, but I knew Brian could come in and substitute and do a great job. So Brian has served in this role as a town councilman since 2016.
My grandfather used to park his shrimp boat here back years and years ago, right down in this ferry canal, right next to Ernie's dad's boat, am I correct? Right. And so it's glad to see that we're moving forward. For y'all that don't know, this place used to be striving with houses in this field right here. We had a shrimp dock right here, and it was a lot of big communities going on right here. And to see it continue as a port means a lot to me, because I don't want to see it just go away and people build houses. Let's keep our port here, keep our commercial fishermen here. It's not only serving our fishermen, but redoing this dock is doing a lot for Grand Isle. It's doing a lot for our flooding. We flood a lot in this area for this bulkheads, and with this bulkhead project, it's going to eliminate a lot of flooding. That's going to help a lot of these people in this community. So thank y'all for everything. And Weldon, I tell you what, I know everybody's been saying things about you, but when you first, no, it's good. I mean, when you first got put in this position, I had to hear from everybody coming to me. Man, y'all putting an out-of-towner in a position, and I tell you what, you took that position and you ran with it. And he's always on the phone. He comes to our meetings, every meeting we have at the town. He keeps our people informed of what's going on at this port. So hats off to you, Weldon, for not being a local and taking it in your heart and moving Grand Isle forward. So let's all continue working together with all these guys, Ricky, Marion, Joe, Pat. Thank y'all, and thank everybody for coming. Thank y'all so much.
Okay, the last speaker could not make it today, but I want to talk a little bit about him, and that's Dean Blanchard.
You got to talk good, right?
Oh, yes. I just talked to Dean a few minutes ago, and he's sick, and he's sorry he could not make it today. But I want to talk a little bit about Dean, and you can probably see, you know, some of his business over there and his boats parked along Bayou Rigo. Dean is the founder and owner of Dean Blanchard Seafood, located here in Grand Isle. Dean Blanchard Seafood is one of the largest shrimp distributors in the United States and has been in existence since 1982. Dean is the largest Grand Isle Port Commission commercial dock leaseholder, and this project entails the repair of his lease pier and bulkhead on the east side of Bayou Rigo. So all of this pier and bulkhead you see on Bayou Rigo is leased by Dean Blanchard. And for the last couple of years, he hasn't been able to lease that because of all the damages that will be done. And he keeps on asking me, when are y'all gonna be complete? When y'all gonna be complete? Because, you know, he wants those leases back. But also what Dean has done for us is he's lobbied for us through various local, state, and federal representatives. He knows a lot of political representatives, and some of you here that's up in front, I know you've heard from Dean, you know, to try to get us the money, you know, for this pier and bulkhead project. And so I want to personally thank Dean here today. I know he's not here, but for all of the work he's done to help us get this funding. Okay, in closing, I would like to thank everyone here in attendance today for the celebration of this key milestone. I would like to ask our port commissioners, our local parish and state elected officials, and our sea-level construction representative Ryan to come join me on the shovels for the official groundbreaking activity. All right, 3, 2, 1, here we go. All right, so the project is officially started.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
Fill up the gap.